This is a Kahan TV Sports Break. Yes, we're back. NBA Sports Break is back. I found the NBA expert, Vlad Kitajczyk. I looked all over town. He went missing. I found him in this parking lot. And now we're short on time, so we decided to do a sports break here from our car. And it is NBA Finals time, Vlad. This is the inevitable showdown we've been discussing for months now. We wasted all our time watching all these other teams, the Clippers, the Spurs. I mean, the Spurs weren't a big waste of time. I should apologize for that. They had bad luck with their Kawhi Leonard injury. Yeah. And I got so frustrated with that injury that I put Sports Break on hold. I didn't even do it for the whole conference finals because it wasn't worth it. There was no point. You know, the Warriors killed that series with their blatant, intentional injuring of an already injured Kawhi Leonard. Finished that series off, and Boston didn't really have a chance against Cleveland. So the conference finals were like the least interesting round of the playoffs, basically. But now we're back. We got the finals. It's what we've all been waiting for. The rubber match. Cleveland pulled off the miracle last year to come back, and then basically we got the same two teams except for one major difference, which is Kevin Durant is on the freaking Warriors now. They were already a 73-win team, right, and they added Kevin Durant. Not fair, not very fair, and the script has flipped somewhat, because LeBron James used to be the bad guy in the NBA when he went to Miami, and everyone thought they had an embarrassment of riches with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and now they're facing the same thing, where the Warriors have even more of an embarrassment of riches.
Maybe so.
And they're basically the evil empire now. And I guess we'll start with the major difference of this series, which is Kevin Durant. Right. He's got a lot of pressure on him, because basically he's brought in to tip the scale, to make the Warriors better than the Cavs, because they were a very evenly matched team last year. And there is a lot of pressure on him, like I mentioned. The question is it too much pressure for a player who's been known to buckle under pressure in the playoffs, in the big moments? Or does he have enough support now where he's not going to feel that pressure and he could just relax and just concentrate on making his wide open shots?
This is all great questions. I'm going to try to answer some of them the best I can. Okay, first, will he still feel pressure? It depends on how well Curry and Thompson play. That's the number one thing, because if they struggle like they did last year, it's gonna be on him. That's why they got him here, right? They couldn't create in those games down the stretch. They couldn't play that one-on-one basketball because they didn't have a guy they could just throw the ball into and say, hey, try to get us 2 points by going to the free throw line. They needed Curry and Thompson to nail like long-range bombs, right? That's what they're known for, to hit the 3-point shots. And when those shots went they went dead, both of them. You know, those last 3 games, they lost. Those were some low-scoring games for them, especially in that 7th game. They couldn't hit. They didn't score, and down in like the last 4 minutes of that game, they couldn't hit anything. So that's why they have Durant here. Bottom line, they brought him in here to turn the tide, so they could go to that guy down in the stretch in the fourth quarter. So there will be some pressure, especially if the games are close and tight, for him to deliver the goods, especially if Thompson and Curry are not doing the job from the outside. Even more pressure for him, so we'll see.
Well, do you think he's going to be getting the ball in his hands a lot to create by himself? And can he create? Is he that type of player that if he gets double-teamed, creates for other players on the team and gets Steph Curry and Klay Thompson open shots?
Not really. Not if you watch the team, the way they play. Usually they go to him to score. They go to him, they want him, when they get it to him, they want him to create for himself. And usually that's what he's good at. He's not that he won't pass the ball. He'll pass it, but it might not be a great scoring opportunity when he does. He's not like selfish to the point where he just won't give up the ball. No, he'll pass the ball, but doesn't mean he'll set up a teammate for a great scoring opportunity like he would set up Green for a wide open dunk or something. He's not really. That's not the type of player he is. He's not like LeBron. He's not the guy that will create for others. That's LeBron kind of. Durant's more of a old school type player. He's more there to score, and he's not like he's not like Magic Johnson / Michael Jordan like LeBron is. He's not going to be able to do those things.
All right. Well, I wanted to throw in one silly question here because the Warriors use such a dirty tactic. I gotta admit, I don't really like the Warriors. I think since
No shame.
yeah, since they were rivals with the Clippers before they even won championships, they weren't as good as the Clippers, but they would always use these dirty tactics whenever they felt they needed to get ruffle feathers, injure players even.
Right.
Blake Griffin was always worried that he would get hurt in these type of games because they would really use these dirty. So they ruined that Spurs series. They were down big in game one. Everyone was thinking like it was going to turn into a good series, but Kawhi Leonard went down. If the Cavaliers decided to play this game, and just bear with me on this question. If the Cavaliers decided to play this game and injure one of the Warriors, which is the player you think that if they went down, it would be the best for the Cavaliers and it would turn the tide in their favor?
They have some to pick from, but Curry's their best bet. If they want to go out there and injure somebody, you go out there and you injure Curry. You're out there. He has already like thin ankles. It won't take a lot. It won't take a lot to have a severe sprain on one of his ankles. Go out there and step into one of his shots. He shoots so many threes that you'll have plenty to pick from. Just when you're closing out, put your foot out. Pretend like that's the way you're supposed to close out. Even though anybody that's watched basketball for like even a month would tell you that that's just ridiculous. Nobody closes out defensively like that ever. I don't know what the heck he was talking about. But anyways, that's what I would do. That's not what I would do. But if to answer your question, Curry would be the guy. Bottom line, he's the guy that sparks the team. When he gets going like that, they're unstoppable.
Well, so what if Curry went down hypothetically? Even if it's not the Cavaliers injuring him on purpose, but if he did happen to get hurt,
right?
Do you think the Cavs, the Warriors could win without Steph Curry?
Oh, it would be tough. It would be tough.
Basically, it would be Kevin Durant's team. He would have to carry this team the way he was supposed to carry Oklahoma City.
Right.
I personally don't see that happening. I think if Steph went down, the Warriors wouldn't have a chance to win.
I don't think so either, because he could not win with Westbrook. I'm talking about Durant. So why would he win with Green and Thompson, right? He wouldn't be able to do it. Why would he? If he wasn't able to win with Westbrook, how's he going to win without Curry? Curry's, for all the stuff that I kind of given a little bit like that he's just an outside shooter, and he is very important to that team. He's a great player. He's skilled. He's very important. He's the one that sparks them when they go on those crazy runs of like just all of a sudden like 12-0 runs. It's always sparked by something that he does. So he's very important to that team, and he would be the most important player on that team for sure.
All right. Well, that was a very hypothetical question. That's if there are injuries. That could always happen to anybody. For all we know, LeBron could go down, although he's a very durable player. But let's move on. One important factor that I've noted to you in the past is Mike Brown and how he has to be the head coach right now, especially at least for game one. We hear it's not definite that Steve Kerr is not going to coach for the whole series.
But we don't know. We don't know what his status is for sure.
So we know Mike Brown from when he used to coach LeBron. Then he coached your Lakers for quite a while. And do you see him as being a good head coach? Is he a good head coach?
No. Some guys are not made to be head coaches. Some guys are just made to be assistants because they're good at certain aspects of the game. Like he is. He's good defensively. That's what he was under Rick Carlisle. That's what he was under Popovich. And that's fine. If you're good in certain areas, you should be an assistant coach. Doesn't mean you actually should become a head coach. Somebody gave him a job one way or another. And the only reason he's coaching now, obviously, is because of the Steve Kerr thing. I don't think anybody would hire him to be head coach ever again. But never say never, because Mike D'Antoni got a job, and it kind of worked out for him to an extent. They did reasonably well.
I guess what I'm imagining is if the Cavaliers do make a run, and the momentum is on their side, and they're hitting threes, and this is not looking good for the Warriors, what will Mike Brown do to right the ship for this team when they actually do need coaching? Because there comes a time where no matter how good a team is, even the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe and Michael Jordan in Chicago needed coaching from Phil Jackson.
Absolutely.
So can this be like a thing that costs the Warriors?
Yeah, it definitely can. That's one of the things I was saying before the Leonard injury in the Spurs series. That hey, he's going up against Greg Popovich. I mean, which is like David versus Goliath, coaching wise. So, I mean, yes, Tyrone Lue doesn't have that type of pedigree as a Greg Popovich, but he's not a. He clearly is a solid head coach, and I mean, he can coach. He's definitely more adequate than Mike Brown, I would say. So, in that sense, yes, Mike Brown can cost the Warriors this series if things start to go awry and not according to plan. Because the Warriors are all about running their system, making their shots, and making sure things go smoothly in their offense. And if things start to go a little bit sideways for them, I'm not sure Mike Brown's going to have any answers at all. I mean, if he does, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. But he is. But in his defense, he is a defensive coach. So if it's a defensive wrinkle that he needs to throw in there, maybe he could come up with something. So I'll throw that into his defense. But I wouldn't really rely on Mike Brown to turn any type of tide for you. If you're going down, he's going down with you. The ship is going to be sinking.
All right. Well, before we conclude our segment to preview the NBA Finals and get our predictions,
Yeah.
I want to get some X factors from you for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
What are the X factors, things that need to happen that you wouldn't necessarily expect? Like, and we all know we need big games from LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph.
Mm-hmm.
But what else? Give me some X factors for both teams. Let's start with the Cavs.
For the Cavs, I mean, they were going to need basically Irving. Kyrie Irving was great in last year's finals. I mean, let's call it like we saw it. He torched Curry. I mean, those last 3 games, it was just wow. I mean, he was schooling him. Let's call it like exactly like it was. So if he plays like that again, and Curry doesn't answer the bell for whatever reason, whether it's not injuries, because he's healthy as far as we know. Last year there was a whole Curry was playing hurt. Well, this year, he's supposed to be healthy. But if Irving gives him the business again, that is the best chance for the Cavs to win this series. Not saying that they will, but that would be their best chance right there. And Kevin Love, he every year he's gotten kind of better fitting with this team, So this year even more so. I don't know how he's going to fit in with the match because matchups, every matchup is different. But if he's been playing well, and if he gives them more offensively and defensively, that's because last year he didn't give them a lot. That's another reason to give the Cavs a very good chance of pulling up this upset here. And just outside shots, when LeBron drives and passes out to J.R. Smith, to Kyle Korver, to whoever, they got to knock it down. That's one way that they're definitely going to put a lot of fear in the Warriors. Those shots start falling, the Warriors have a lot of they're going to have a lot to think about. That's for the Cavs. For the Warriors, let's see. I think they really only one thing I would say is, and that's Thompson. Thompson was not great in last year's finals, especially those last 3 games. None of the Warriors were, except maybe Green in that 7th game. But he is a guy that's relied upon to score, make plays, do something. And he was so one-dimensional last year that if he was missing his outside shot, nothing was going to get done. He's still a solid defender, but you got to score, right? That's the most important thing. And he couldn't come up last year, and if that happens again this year, again the Warriors are in trouble. But if he comes through and he plays like he's capable of, it's gonna be very tough. It's very tough to beat the Warriors.
Well, let me ask you an additional question about the Warriors. What about the interior defense? Because that was one thing that last year they struggled with when they would lose Andrew Bogut.
Right.
And this year they just decided to get rid of Bogut and get Durant in return. That was the one thing they had to do to make the contracts and the financial work, where everything to work out financially. But now they don't have him. They have David West and Pachulia instead. Is there any chance the Cavs could rough him up on the interior?
Yes, they can. Tristan Thompson's a beast with, rebounding wise. All those offensive boards that he collects. I'm not saying he's the greatest rim protector, but man, he could make it tough for any interior just to rebound the ball. So they could definitely try to beat him up inside. That could be a strategy they go to. I mean, I don't think outside of Thompson though, they don't really have anybody else outside of Tristan Thompson. I should say they don't have anybody else that could really do that. So they're not a team that really plays inside a lot. I mean, they sometimes go to Love, but it's rare. And the inside, it's like maybe in the beginning of games.
LeBron could go inside. Come on, he could rip through this defense and just try to get to the basket. And
Well, yeah.
If he gets,
You can always do that. I'm not saying, but I'm talking about like actual, like you're talking about like post ups, right? You're
no,
talking about, like,
not necessarily. I'm talking about attacking the rim.
Oh yeah, of course you could do that. He's one of the great. That's one of his great strengths. Even at this point of his career, he can still drive to the basket. He can still attack with the best of them. I mean, even and Irving too. I mean, he's not going to finish like LeBron because of his size, but he's also great at attacking the basket. So both of those guys will attack the basket. That's not the question. The question is who can man that paint for the Cavs, and will that affect the Warriors because they don't have the inside stuff like with Bogut anymore, like they did last year. I mean, they have guys that they're using, but not anyone that they can like. They have McGee and Pachulia, like you said. David West is a strong power forward, but nobody that could actually. None of those guys are rim protectors at all. So yes, that is something that the Cavs could expose if they play it smart.
And the Warriors could go small at some points of the game with their big four plus probably Andre Iguodala.
Right.
And I guess Draymond Green is a good defender. Sometimes he'll go up there and get some blocks and try to protect the paint.
Yes.
But I still think, personally, if I could throw something in, that's an opening for the Cavs.
I agree.
To do some damage. Now, based on everything you've said, I can already surmise that you don't think this is going to be completely all Warriors, that you don't think, because a lot of people are saying that the Warriors are going to destroy this and just sweep through it almost and win easily.
Yeah.
But I can tell it's not, but I got to get your prediction.
Well,
your official prediction.
Well, they said the same things last year, and yes, even I thought the Warriors would win last year, and I think they're going to win this year too, but this is a team with LeBron James, so you got to at least give them, what do you call it, a puncher's chance? I don't know. This is a team that has one of the 5 greatest players of all time on their team. So they have a legitimate chance just with him there. So I will give them a chance, but in the end, I think it's going to be too much to overcome. And for them to do it again, beat a team that clearly they're not as good as, they don't have the amount of talent. I mean, they have talent too, but when you have Durant and, and Curry and Green and Thompson, it's a little too much to overcome, I think. And I think the Warriors will win this series in 6 games.
All right. Well, honestly, I hate to say it because I don't like the Warriors, but I agree. I think they're going to win. And I think the Cavs' real only shot at winning this is something that really doesn't happen in the NBA anymore, which is to try to control the pace and slow the game down to a crawl. Keep the ball deep into the shot clock. Don't let the Warriors leak out for fast breaks. Don't really pound the offensive boards too hard. It's kind of just if you don't make the shot, give it up. But it's good.
But just get back on defense.
Just get back on defense. Disrupt the rhythm. Foul if you have to. Don't let them go on these 3-point shooting sprees. And I think that way, like you said, they have a puncher's chance if they make it a half-court game. But a lot of these teams in the NBA this year, especially in the playoffs rolled around, I thought the game would slow down. And it just kind of was a continuation of the regular season. And it's not really a strategy used anymore. It's that old, like, Mike Dunleavy senior strategy, that, he made the Clippers kind of a competitive team when they weren't really even a good team just by slowing the game down. And I guess I agree with you. They have a puncher's chance. That's their only chance, I'd say, strategy-wise, is to slow it down, attack the rim, and control the pace.
Right.
But I think the Warriors are going to win, unfortunately. Barring injuries. We'll be back from time to time during the finals to cover this and to talk about it. If there's an injury, that will be a major development. But as of right now, we're talking about 2 full-strength teams, and we're both picking the Warriors. I'd probably say less. I'd say Warriors in 5.
Okay. I mean, it's fair. But don't forget, people were saying the same thing last year, and even I was. And I actually want to be wrong here because I don't like the Warriors. I don't like the Cavs that much either, but lesser of 2 evils, I guess. Whatever. Kind of don't like I don't like what they did here with this Durant thing. I think it's kind of disgusting. So, whatever. Whatever happens. But yeah, I think you got to give the Cavs a little bit. They have LeBron, and that means a lot. So we'll see. But yeah, it's gonna be tough.
All right, Vlad. Thanks for taking a break from slamming shots to come talk about basketball with us. And that is all for this edition of Sports Break. We'll see you soon. Final start this Thursday. Let's have a good time.